Pow, that was a big slap. All right, we are here live and ready for a new kind of show. So we're just going to be doing some chit chat tonight about some myths or some questions. And there's Susan. Hey, Susan.
Hi. Sorry I'm a
Hey,
little late.
Susan.
No,
Can you
you're
hear
all
me?
good. Yeah,
Oh, good. Oh, good.
we're just getting the intro going. You're just fine.
What up,
Um,
sis?
Hey, brother. I'm
we
glad.
got
Got
Jack
internet
and
back.
Kay. Oh, have you had been without internet?
Yeah, for most of the day.
Oh, that
Woke up
sucks.
woke up to no internet today.
Ew,
Yeah. At about 3 or something like that. That
ew.
sucks
I'm
so
sorry.
bad.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're
Especially the
trying to.
waking up at 3 part.
Yeah.
Oh no. No, no, no. 3 this afternoon is when I got it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I did wake up at 3 because my radio went off on my phone, and I don't have phone when
Oh,
I don't have internet either.
oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
Anyway,
we're
sorry.
just we're no, you're fine. We're just discussing that we're gonna just kind of do a live Q&A potpourri tonight. Um, and Kay's got a outline for us to work from, and we're just gonna
Cool.
kind of get caught up from, maybe
Not really.
not really what.
Not really that I have an outline. I just
Well,
shared a case summary and a case timeline that's not the one that I'm working on in the slideshow.
that's true. That's true.
I don't know. I just thought it might spur some questions. So,
Yeah, and that's what I mean. People have questions, no doubt. And I find that I don't know what I've done to my. There we go. I find that people who are familiar with the case have, they have genuine questions about 41 pages. Wow, that's a lot. Kay, you've been busy.
I didn't do that
That's just
necessarily.
gotcha. I
Someone
see
gave
what it
that
is.
to me.
Yeah, I see that now. Um, so yeah, but there's just no Lord. Let me mute these other YouTube channels I have going on. Okay. Um, so anyway, just maybe bust some myths or explain some things that seem weird to people, like why did this and why did that, or stuff like that. And so, um, we hopefully have some questions from the chat when those get rolling. And for anybody who's watching from Foul Play, which says there's a few of them, so welcome for to everybody from Foul Play that's tuning in as well. Dark Side is in the chat. It's great to see you, Dark Side. Um, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'll just start with Jack and Susan. You know, I know Susan's been through the entire Bates podcast, and I know Jack has started. I don't have you finished it, Jack?
No, I think I'm up to maybe episode 9.
Oh, okay.
I really need to revisit that because it's been quite a while, and I've learned so much more since the first time that I listened to it.
Right.
But I'm sure there's
Yeah.
much more, you know, to pick up.
Oh, yeah.
Um, Once you have the case a little straighter in your mind, you know, it's. I think you probably catch more.
I
Yeah.
agree, Susan. I mean, obviously I've been digging into this case for a long time, but I still, if I listen to an episode of a podcast, I still pick up something every single time. I think it's just so much information
Yeah, there's so
that
much.
you know, you're thinking about something you just heard, but while you're doing that, you're missing something.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it is great to revisit it. I don't know how many times I've listened to the episodes.
Yeah, I've listened to all of the episodes at least once, but it's been to just to turn them on and start going through them like I did initially. I haven't done that in a very long time. I listened to an episode based on which accuser we might be talking about in any given show, and so it's just I don't know. The reason unfortunately the people who I would love to have watching us or in the chat are people that there was I can't think of the name of the channel right now, but I'd like to give him a shout out that recently did. Let me see if I can find his name real quick.
Is it Morbid Curiosity?
No, not Morbid Curiosity. I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't like his, but
he did an updated one, I thought.
He did. Well, he took out some of
no, I mean really recently.
I don't know about Morbid Curiosity, but
who was
let's see, what's this guy's name? At Prince Charming, New York. That's the one I'm thinking of. Yeah, and he did his presentation was one of the better ones I've seen, quite honestly. And so I
agree.
Definitely, yeah, I'd like to give him some. Oh, it's called criminal behavioral analysis. I can't even speak today. Is the name of the channel, GBP, and and then so what I've been kind of do every time one of these guys somebody puts out a new video about the case, I like to watch it, and then I'm all over the comment. Yeah, people are like, why just stop talking? Why are you up in everybody's comments? And I just tell them, hey, look, I know for a fact in my heart, undeniably, that Daniel is 100% innocent. And when I see information that comments are getting incorrect, I'm going to set it straight. That's just what I'm going to do. And
one of the comments that I always see in those chats is, well, he shouldn't be turning off his computer on all of these stops. People just get the wrong impressions or the wrong information or misunderstand exactly, what happened.
Right. Or they hear something the way they want to hear it based on a feeling or an interpretation or an already preconceived notion of guilt. And you know what? Go ahead.
No, I interrupted you. Sorry.
Well, it just frustrates me because so many people that I encounter in those comment sections are just guilty. You could tell he's guilty by this or this in the interrogation, or in the interrogation he lied about this and this and this in the interrogation. And I say to those people, if you're only watching this interrogation and deciding guilt or innocence based on this interrogation video, you don't know anything about the case, because this video is one of many, many, many facts that you're not getting to see or hear. And but when people have already made up their mind, there's really nothing.
And the fact that there are so many accusers is one reason that people just automatically assume he's guilty.
Yes,
that's true. And they say, well, he may not be guilty of all of them, but he has to be guilty of some, because there are so many accusers.
Right.
I think that was an intentional tactic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, sure, she even said it in her interview with
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Michelle
what she was,
Malkin.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Yeah, but you know what she really meant when she was saying that? And I know it was twofold, but also that we're going to get this done and we're going to keep him in prison because it'll be impossible. It'll be almost impossible for him to undo these because now in post conviction, he has to undo every single accuser's, every single one of those 18 charges for which he was convicted.
Right.
Um, you know, if just
They
one
know.
stands, yeah, he'll do that time.
Yeah.
And she knew what she was doing there. I mean, I think she's framed enough people up that that you know, she really was honing her skills, and she might be stupid, but she's really good at with her corruption.
Well, no, it's her intuition, Kay. She knows when somebody's guilty.
Yeah, she had a
Yeah.
gut feeling. I know.
Her gut feelings. Yep.
Mhm. She's pro at that.
I think, you know, some of the other reasons that people get these things in their head that are completely false is because in the beginning, news organizations didn't want to touch this case with a 10-foot pole because of the climate in the United States at the time. They didn't want to come up against, they didn't want to be an anti-Me Too person. They didn't want to be someone who didn't believe the women.
Yeah.
They, you know, they
Yeah.
didn't want to get canceled, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, Me Too movement, cancel culture. That was born around the time of this case, and it's been a horrible thing for Daniel to try to get justice because
Oh
of
my
it.
God. Yeah.
And you know, 7 years later, here we are, and you know, we're far enough removed from all of that that people are even willing to look at the facts of the case and, you know, decide with an open mind to use some critical thinking skills
Yeah.
Right.
to
I just
question.
want to answer under your scar. She said 18. I thought it was
Yeah.
less than that. It was actually 13 accusers, but he was convicted on 18 counts. I think were there 36 counts altogether?
Yeah, exactly
36.
half.
Yep.
One juror
Exactly
said
half.
they split the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that justice? I don't know. That's, you know, I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's what they did. They, including you, dude.
Including him. Yeah. Yeah. That was Daniel Speaks that said that.
Another reason is that in the 2-hour interview of Daniel, both detectives lie, and people listen to that interview and they take everything that those detectives said as gospel. Like, for instance, well, CSI's going through your car right now, and you know, when they did, they found pubic hairs in the back seat. Is there any reason why your pubic hairs would be in the back seat of that car? Well, that was complete bullshit.
They weren't.
They
Yeah.
didn't find any pubic hairs in the back seat of the car, and people believed that there were pubic hairs in the back seat of the car.
Right.
Yeah.
It's things like that. And also the people that covered the case in the beginning, even if they would kind of, I think after Michelle Malkin did her 2-part documentary, I think people started trying to cover it, kind of like, what was that Jim Can't Swim guy? The guy that busted away from Jim Can't Swim and did Daniel's case. I can't think what he
Oh,
named
no.
his channel.
Was that Matt Orchard?
Yes, Matt Orchard still. But people felt the need to scrutinize it, and in the first half of their show, say everything that makes him look guilty as shit.
Oh.
And then in the second half, say, well, but these things, and try to give a more balanced accounting on the second half of the show. And Matt Orchard's show was so long that, if people got to the second half of the show, they got to hear some really great stuff. But I think when these channels like Morbid Curiosity, they had access to the family and documents, and they had access to all kinds of information so that they could go through it and look at the facts of the case and present it in the way that it really should be presented fairly. But they didn't do that necessarily, because that's not sensational. I think when you have to listen to an advertisement every 5 minutes on a show, they're in it for the money, and people want to hear sensational things.
Yep.
I think it's pretty damn sensational that someone gets framed and sent to prison for 263 years, but people would rather hear about a cop rapist committing crimes on Black citizens. And that's just my opinion, but
well, that's just more sensational and more, I know it's a odd word, but salacious and titillating. People like titillating information, whether it's true or not. It's voyeuristic in a way, in my opinion. Hi, Cherie. Welcome.
Hi, Cherie.
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 And we
And
have,
then, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say hello to Neverly. Hi, Neverly. Thanks for joining us.
And then you have what's his face? His name just left me. I can't believe it. The attorney that shows up for everything.
The
black guy. What is his name?
Crump.
Yeah.
Benjamin Crump. You've got Benjamin Crump, who doesn't know the facts of the case at all, as evidenced in the civil suit that was filed. That was, they could have won a lot of money in that civil suit, but the attorneys didn't know the case. And some of the things that they said were just ludicrous. But the same thing, when Crump's being interviewed by, I think it was called TV1, and he's talking about how Daniel's DNA was in the panties of the teenager.
Oh my God.
Okay, there weren't any panties involved in this whole case from any 13 women.
Jesus.
The only underwear that was involved was Rosetta Great when they drug those giant tidy-whitey underwear out of her closet and sent them in for testing. Like, what did they actually think was going to be on those men's underwear?
Well, she told them there was stuff all over that bedroom, right?
Yeah.
There should be.
Right, and they tested some of the things and didn't find a damn thing.
Yep.
Right. And listen, those tidy whities, not only were they huge and old, but they were foul and disgusting. And
that was so nasty.
And to insinuate that Daniel, or any other man for that matter, it doesn't even have to be a cop, any man, to rape somebody and then take off his disgusting tidy whities and leave them at the scene of his rapist crime is just like Kay said, it's just ludicrous. I mean, there's not a different word. Just and Rosetta Great said, "You will find his DNA in my room. You will find it in there."
On the
And
back
she
of
was
the
just
chair, on the bed
yeah,
frame, on the
on the
comforter.
comforter.
And they
Yeah.
didn't even test the bed frame.
No,
If a victim says that she wiped her hand on her crotch and wiped it on the bed frame,
Ew.
on the bed rail,
Ew.
you wouldn't test that. They
right.
knew that. I mean, it just shows that they knew. They already knew she wasn't really a victim. I mean,
Yeah.
all of that stuff was just show.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah, you're
trying.
supposed to be able to back up their claims, you know?
Supposed to be able to.
And knowing what we know now, they didn't have any way of backing up their claim. There was no way to back up their claims.
Right.
There was no, excuse me, um, there was no, the only thing they could use as evidence against Daniel was his AVL. And I've said it 100 times, if I've said it 10, his AVL doesn't prove any crime. His AVL proves that he
Right.
was in the location credibly, legitimately with the accuser,
Right.
and that's it. That's all
Period.
it shows. But people are like, well, they have all the evidence from all of his crimes and all of his places that he went, and what evidence though? But there's no evidence. Well, the GPS says he was there, and that's the one I love the most. What does
there.
that mean? He was exactly. He was there. So I don't know. Neverly has a good question. If you do the math and break it down and divide the years per accuser, how many years did he get if you want to just break it down, by dividing 13 into 263 or whatever, how many years did he get per accuser in that way? Of course, that's not how he was charged and sentenced, but
not, and not all accusers actually won their.
So 20.23 years.
If you divide by 13.
If you divide by 13.
Yeah.
But if you divide by, what was it, 8?
Yeah, I think 8.
Yeah.
32.875.
Okay.
So
Like a life sentence for every one of them.
Mm-hmm. And and that all of the sentences run consecutively. I mean, Judge Henderson was just being an asshole.
No doubt.
Yeah. That's very true.
But he also knew that Daniel wasn't guilty of those charges.
He did. And he was guilty of being a fucking sexual abuser.
Yeah. And half of the accusers, well, so we can't really say, well, I don't know. How can we say half of the accusers won? We can't even really say that because
not really. You're right, Rhonda, because some of the ones that won really not on all counts, like Sherry or Tabitha Barnes, who we just covered. I think there were 3 sexual assault charges that he was convicted on, and then a burglary and a stalking that he was acquitted on. So there were several split verdicts.
Yeah, but he never touched me. He never touched me.
Right.
He never touched me.
Well, that's 8 years.
Yeah.
The hell of that is that right before Well, is that the parole board, the pardon and parole board, wouldn't even look at her video deposition saying that this charge that they were considering parole for, that she completely admits that he never touched her. And that was 8 years for touching her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's infuriating. It's
So there's
infuriating.
really no
Yep.
justice for Daniel in Oklahoma. Sadly,
Yeah. So sad.
everyone's corrupt and they're running it through. I think it seems like we're going to have Judge Trong, who is the judge who set bond for $5 million cash for him.
Oh, God.
That's the judge who heard the first thing that's been in front of district court since Timothy Henderson had to step down. And it seems that that's a pretty good indication that that's his new district court judge. So,
Well, that's a whole nother sad kind of subject for me, probably others, is the actions of this judge. I mean, come on. How long has this shit been going on that he's been pulling us with whoever while he was a judge, maybe in Daniel's case and so many others? He was doing this stuff in his chambers, and I just don't get it.
well, he was definitely doing it during the secret hearings.
Yep.
And I feel like, because they said there were 5 women, but they didn't disclose who the 5 were. I really think that maybe Lori McConnell may have been one of them. And if not, Lori McConnell tried so many cases with Kelly Collins. They were friends. So if Henderson and Collins were kind of on the outs, which we know from some of the reporting that they did on what his text messages or what some emails said, that he was sending her emails saying, I know it's been a year and I still can't get over you or whatever. I know I really need to get over you. Give me a break. What happens when someone's heartbroken about someone? They try to talk to their best friend. They try to talk to their friends. Lori McConnell and Kelly Collins were friends. You don't try cases together and not develop a friendship like that. You don't work in the same division together and not develop a friendship.
Well, and in the same office. I mean, they worked in the same office. That's a day to day, hour by hour relationship, friendship. That's formed, and that's something, Kay, that we haven't talked about in a while. Is the secret hearings, and I would bet that some of our new listeners don't even know what we're talking about when we say secret hearings. So maybe that's a good place too for us to go tonight, is to talk about the secret hearings and explain what that was about and the effect that it may have had or could have had if it had not been secret, if you are up to that.
Yeah, I'm ill prepared for that, but we can just do it informally.
Oh yeah, everything about tonight's informal. Yeah, Neverly says she'd like to hear about the secret hearings. Yeah.
So let's see. I'm trying to see when Daniel filed his direct appeal. Well, okay, we can go backwards. So the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals denied his direct appeal on August 1st of 2019, and that was exactly to the day 2.5 years after he filed it. They sat on that shit for 2.5 years. So the secret hearings happened because of Daniel's appeal. Let's see. So let me just read this summary. The appeals, secret hearings about OCPD analyst Elaine Taylor. So on June 26th and June 27th of 2017, Judge Henderson presided over these hearings because the Court of Criminal Appeals asked him to get to the bottom of the allegations in Daniel's appeal, which were saying that she testified outside the bounds of her training, that she didn't disclose that there was male DNA, things of that nature. So back to the secret hearings. The subject was OCPD lab manager Campbell Ruddock's written review of Miss Taylor's testimony in Daniel Holtzclaw trial. So Mr. Ruddock wrote this review because Mr. Holtzclaw's legal brief raised a legal claim that his trial attorney was ineffective by not challenging Miss Taylor's flawed testimony. Henderson concluded that there was no impeachment evidence against Miss Taylor in Mr. Ruddock's written review. But this is contradicted by Mr. Ruddock's deposition testimony, in which he described negative comments he made in a verbal review of Miss Taylor's testimony even before Mr. Ruddock was asked by some unknown person to write a written review. Judge Henderson also concluded that Mr. Ruddock's written review was part of Miss Taylor's personnel file, and therefore the city of Oklahoma City was the only entity with authority to release the written review to the public. Henderson's ruling ignored that the city of Oklahoma City had already shared the written review with outside entities such as the Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office and the Attorney General of Oklahoma. So Kathleen Zellner deposed Campbell Ruddock, and the city attorney, Richard Smith, kept not let. So Ruddock is under a gag order to not talk about any of that. Anything to do with her written review, anything to do with those secret hearings. But at the very end, Zellner kind of sweet talked him. I mean, I don't know a better word to use. Oh, this is, this is my last question, can he answer? And Smith said, well, if it's your last question, yeah, I'll let him go ahead and answer. And that's when it was revealed that it had to do with her, the secret hearings had to do with his review of her
testimony.
Yes, thank you, testimony in the secret or from trial. But all that stuff is sealed. The transcripts from the secret hearings are sealed. Neither Daniel nor his attorney were allowed to attend the secret hearings because they said it was a personnel issue.
Such bullshit.
It is such bullshit. His attorney at the time, which would have been his public defender. I can't think what that guy's name is.
I can't think
James
of it either.
Post
Locker.
conviction.
Lockard.
He was allowed to go to the courthouse and stand there and read some heavily redacted transcripts from the secret hearings. He had to go
What the hell?
multiple days. He wasn't allowed to take them, and Daniel's current counsel is not allowed to do that same thing.
What?
So his current counsel has no freaking idea about any of that. But here's the kicker with those secret hearings. So when it was challenged that, hey, Daniel, it's unconstitutional, neither Daniel nor his attorney were allowed to attend this hearing, the judges came to the conclusion that although I should have this line memorized because it's classic, but I'll ad lib here. Although Daniel and his attorney should have been able to attend, the judges have determined that no harm was done to him. There was
Come on.
There was nothing exculpatory in those hearings, which after Campbell Ruddock's deposition we know is complete bullshit. So
Right.
Yeah.
oh, look at TJ pumping everybody up with Oklahoma City weather forecast. Or
yeah.
It's
We're
the
like,
same
yeah.
here.
It almost makes me think of or it does make me think of the Court of Appeals in Stevens' case, where giving back the bones was inexplicable, but
Yeah.
but it's okay.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing.
I think they went so far as to say that nothing that was discussed in the secret hearings would have made a difference to the outcome of the appeal.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
something like that for sure.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference. And because I remember saying when I first read that, how can a person or a couple of people make that decision? An attorney for Daniel should have been able to make that decision.
That's why ex parte meetings are illegal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what that was.
Yep.
And I can't believe, I don't know, certainly what's going to happen down the road, but is there any indication where his current counsel is going to raise this issue in the post trial stuff?
Can you continue to raise issues that have already been ruled on?
Well, maybe appeal it. This is the post conviction appeal, so I don't know if that was
I think that's Jack. That's one of the reasons I suggested that maybe you do a post conviction episode on open mic to get someone to answer procedure questions, because I'm not.
Travis would be great.
Travis would be excellent. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If this was a circuit court decision, I think it can be appealed. Now, if the Court of Appeals has ruled on it, then it would have to go higher to.
That was a Court of Appeals ruling, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then they'd have to raise the bar and go up to the federal level. I don't know what circuit.
To the state.
Seventh.
Oh,
well,
yep.
Seventh
right.
Circuit is
circuit court.
Yeah.
10th Circuit, I think, is where we would be.
10th Circuit.
It's 10th Circuit.
Hey, Rhonda, do you have a video about the secret hearings on one of your old shows?
I do.
Does.
Yeah, I do.
That'd be great if you could find that right quickly.
Yeah, that'd be great if you could just pull a rabbit out of your hat.
Just click a button and know it's right there. I can't ever find that shit. Cherie and Catnit are my quick link finders.
Are you looking for a video that you did on it, or we did on it?
Yeah, we did an entire show on the secret hearings, if I'm not mistaken. and it's probably been a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay, I'll look.
So, yeah, Cherie's great at that. All I do is come up here and push buttons and talk and scroll. That's all I'm good for. Finding my own links, I'm not so good at that. So
Just
TJ's on one. Chance of rain today is 50-50. It will or it won't.
Yeah.
Thanks, TJ.
We have almost the exact weather here.
we're supposed to get a little bit cooler weather coming in on the weekend, so hopefully it sticks around for a while.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
we're
only going to be
95.
90.
We're 95 here, but there's Catnip. I told you guys. Catnip, I love you so much.
Did she find it?
Yes, she was trying to stay quiet in the chat. But when it's a mod thing, she's on it. Thanks, Kat.
Well,
Thanks,
I think
Kat.
we did a great job on that one, if I recall correctly. So maybe we could play it
Like now?
whenever. Now's a good time if you know where it is in the episode.
Oh, I don't know. Come on now. What do you want from me?
Oh, come on. Come on,
Let me see.
Wanda.
Let me see what I can find. Oh,
Are there any
thanks.
questions over in foul play or in either of the chats? Anyone have any questions about the case?
I don't see any questions, but
I'm not
let's
logged
see.
into. Oh, does foul plays questions come on yours too?
Yeah, we can see foul plays questions in StreamYard.
Okay, I see.
So
None in foul play
Ripper.
yet.
Huh?
I just said no questions in foul play yet.
Let's see. Serving time for something he didn't do. Ripper made an appearance in this particular video, looks like. And Nosy is in this video. Wow. Yeah, I mean, without opening it up and listening to it, I don't know exactly where it's at.
I can look through it while you guys are discussing other things.
Okay. Let's
thanks,
see.
Sheree.
What else?
Yeah, so I don't know. It just seems like I just feel like I don't know. I mean, that it can't even be used as like, I mean, because in post conviction, if I'm not mistaken, you need to be able to thank you under your scars. I find it obnoxious, but I appreciate that. It just, I don't know, like it would have to be unsealed in order for that to be new evidence, wouldn't it? I would think, for post conviction.
Oh, definitely. If they unsealed it, then, and they're never going to do that.
That's never going to happen.
Ever.
Yeah.
Why? Because it's Elaine Taylor's personnel file, and that would be blah, blah, blah. You would think that someone's wrongful incarceration would trump someone's personnel file.
She's a state employee. That, especially if it's regarding wrongdoing, that should definitely be public in my eyes.
We all agree. But
her salary is from taxpayers, right?
Yes.
That's what I always said, but
that's what I said too. I thought, there's that's taxpayers, that should be a part of an ORR. And okay. Well, I could play that maybe, Cherie says that in the beginning, I have that great news segment where that journalist is acting out his wait for info on the secret hearings.
Oh yeah, Phil Cross did an
Phil
excellent
Cross.
report
Yeah,
on
he
that.
did.
Yeah, play that.
Let's see if I can.
I mean, didn't they go through Daniel's personnel files at
Yeah, but
trial?
I don't know that they made them public.
Oh, they weren't part
Oh,
of the trial.
Um, I'm embarrassed to say
His
I haven't read the whole trial transcript in its entirety.
like his use of force.
I think those things were, which
Yeah,
you'd think would be wrongdoing in a way. I mean, really, I think two of them he didn't self-report, but
right.
I mean, definitely they used everything in the Demetria Campbell lawsuit. She was not one of the 13 accusers, but she filed a civil rights suit against him and won a $25,000 settlement. I mean,
For the use of force.
for use of force, but she
Uh-huh.
didn't even allege the things that she put in her civil lawsuit until after his
till it was
face was
public.
public in the news,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which was, that happened, I think,
Hey.
in November or December of 2013. And so
Yeah.
half a year later, she comes out with a new story.
Brother.
I mean, she did say that he shoved her up against a brick wall, which he did say that he did use the wall to,
She was resisting.
yeah.
She was resisting, and she was a big girl. And I'm not trying to fat shame anybody, but
But,
she was a big girl.
Oklahoma City trains their police officers to do things that I don't agree with. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're going to get a lot of young officers in a jam by training them to do shit like Terry stops. And
Mm-hmm.
those officers come in gung ho, wanting to be the best, wanting to advance, wanting to impress the brass. So if they're instructed to do X, Y, and Z, I
They're going to
don't
do it.
think they realize that the brass is going to instruct them to do things that are unconstitutional.
Well, yeah, they expect that they're going to be properly trained, and
Yeah.
they're going to follow the examples of their supervisors and everybody above them, and if that's what they're seeing, and that's how you end up with a bad department.
Yeah.
When you have bad leaders in the department, that's scary.
Yeah, it's no
Okay.
different now. It hasn't changed at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's see what we can see on this video that the Cherie and Catnet have pulled up. Let's see.
There's a new development in a case of a cop convicted of rape. But here's the twist. The courts have ordered all details about it covered up. And as Fox 25's Phil Cross shows us, their curtain isn't just closing on the public's right to witness justice.
Our story begins here at the Oklahoma Judicial Center, where the Court of Criminal Appeals meets. Now, this is where the state is fighting to keep Daniel Holtzclaw in prison. Now, the state recently filed a motion under seal, which is uncommon, but not unheard of. However, the court took it a step further and issued a protective order over all this new information and then kicked the case back to Oklahoma County. So here we are at Oklahoma County District Court. When we first asked the court here, they said the case was all with the Court of Criminal Appeals, so they tossed the legal ball back to the state's Justice Center. Here's where it all gets a little weird. The court is even keeping this new information secret from Daniel Holtzclaw's own attorneys. And when we asked what was supposed to be happening in district court, the judges in this building told us we had to go back downtown. We tried to ask Judge Timothy Henderson, him right there, about when this mystery information was going to be heard in his courtroom, but his office says he can't comment on anything related to the Holtzclaw case. So we asked when this hearing would be set. His office says he can't comment on anything related to the Holtzclaw case. So we asked if the public would be allowed in the public courtrooms during this hearing, and well, you guessed it, his office says they can't comment on anything related to the Holtzclaw case. So here we are back at the Court of Criminal Appeals, where we asked the judges why the need for all the secrecy and the legal justification for that, and also how that squares up with the oath they took to uphold the U.S. Constitution, which allows for public access to the courts, and the Oklahoma Constitution, which also allows public access to the courts. Here's what they had to say. Oh, you didn't miss anything. They didn't respond. So here's what we do know. The Oklahoma Attorney General's office, which is handling the case now, says the secret information is just that, a secret. They won't talk about it, except to say the district court will be holding an evidentiary hearing on the matter. Now, the Oklahoma County DA's office, which is not involved in the case anymore, says this new mystery information does not include new details dug up by the AG's office and does not include any allegations of wrongdoing by county prosecutors. So far, no court or agency has been willing to say why all the secrecy is needed or been able to provide the legal justification for keeping the public out of the justice process. Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
That is how you tell a story. Now, secrecy is becoming quite common since Daniel Holtzclaw's conviction. His information was deleted out of the Department of Corrections offender information site, and the agency won't say what prison he is at, even though every other prisoner's information is in that system.
That's what that asshole took away from that. I hate
All
that.
new
I hate that
Yeah.
guy, that anchor right there.
I don't know what this is, but let's see.
9 new clues about the secret court hearing in the case of a cop convicted of rape.
Fox 25's Phil Cross got the surveillance video that shows who all took part in the secret hearings that even the defense wasn't allowed to attend.
The hearings happened this week. They began Monday when the prosecutors with the Oklahoma County DA's office arrived just before 9 a.m. Galen Giger, the head of the DA's Public Corruption Division, who also led the prosecution against Daniel Holtzclaw, was there. One of the witnesses, Oklahoma City Deputy Chief Johnny Coleman. He was in with prosecutors and the judge for more than an hour. Also present, a senior city attorney who handles civil litigation. The hearings lasted all day Monday and all day Tuesday. The AG's office, which is supposed to have the case now that it is in appeals, could only tell us the hearing was an evidentiary hearing. The DA's office has not returned our multiple calls, texts, or emails related to these hearings. However, when Fox 25 first broke the news about the secret orders issued by the Court of Criminal Appeals, DA David Prater said the issue had nothing to do with any wrongdoing by his office or his prosecutor, but said he could not say more. The videos also confirm Holtzclaw's defense attorneys were not present, and Fox 25 has learned they were not even told about the hearings until after they were over. Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
Daniel Holtzclaw is serving his more than 200-year sentence for multiple sex crimes, including rape. His appeal is stalled at the Court of Criminal Appeals until whatever was discussed during the secret hearing is decided. Secret court hearings that could end up costing Oklahoma City. Fox 25's Phil Cross was the first to tell you who was at the secret proceedings as part of the Daniel Holtzclaw appeal.
But what does that mean for the case? And what does it mean for taxpayers who are footing the bill for both prosecuting the former cop and defending the city against civil rights complaints? Tonight, Phil Cross gives us a closer look at a Fox 25 follow-up.
In prison for what is likely the rest of his life, former police officer Daniel Holtzclaw maintains he did not sexually assault, rape, or do anything inappropriate with the women he was convicted of assaulting during traffic stops. He's appealing his sentence, but the state has held secret hearings about key information that could impact his freedom. Only no one from his defense team was allowed to attend.
He's on pins and needles. He wants to know, is this good news? Is this bad news?
What is it?
Brian Bates is one of Holtzclaw's most ardent defenders. He worked on the case as an investigator and now operates a website in defense of Holtzclaw.
I don't care what side you come down on and whether or not Daniel is guilty or innocent. What people need to be aware of is this could happen to them eventually. They could find themselves in the crosshairs. There could be secret hearings going on. There could be things being discussed that are going to affect your and your family's life, and you're not going to have any input.
Thanks to surveillance video from outside the secret hearing, we know the two-day proceeding included a team of prosecutors and the deputy police chief, along with Oklahoma City's chief civil attorney. The city attorney said he wouldn't comment on his role at the hearing, whether he was there to testify or acting as an attorney for the police department. The victims in Holtzclaw's case are suing Oklahoma City, which means the hearing could either hurt that case or create new legal problems for OKC if it is focused on wrongdoing to Holtzclaw, which is what those who have followed the case the closest believe.
If you're asking me to guess, I would say this is obviously in Daniel's favor. The prosecution has circled the wagons. I can guarantee you, if any of this information was negative to Daniel, they'd have sent it out in a press release.
But even for those convinced of the criminal conviction, there was another party kept out. The victims, who say they were sexually assaulted, were also not allowed inside that hearing that could impact their lives. And the public, which pays for everything from the prosecution to the light bills that keep the courtroom illuminated, is left in the dark. Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
The Oklahoma County DA's office has not returned our multiple messages about the case, but in the past they have told us the new information has nothing to do with allegations of wrongdoing by the DA's office or prosecutors involved. The veil of secrecy is lifting, if even only for a little bit, in the highly unusual case of the appeal of a convicted cop.
Daniel Holtzclaw has been kept in the dark, and the state is asking whether or not they should be able to turn over material that could bolster his claims that he was wrongly convicted. Fox 25's Phil Cross first revealed the secrecy in this case. Now he tells us what the new records show about the case.
In court documents, the Court of Criminal Appeals first said the public had no right to see. The case is called unusual. That's putting it mildly.
Very mild term. I've never seen it in my career. I've yet to find another lawyer or a judge that's seen anything like this.
Scott Adams represented Daniel Holtzclaw in his initial trial on charges he raped and sexually assaulted women while serving as an Oklahoma City police officer. He does not have anything to do with the current appeal, but has been kept in the dark just as much as the attorneys that are. Newly unsealed records reveal the state found information that could help Holtzclaw, but the court has yet to rule on whether or not it will be turned over to the defense. The Attorney General's office cites an exemption in the Open Records Act about personnel records, indicating it was a personnel action that led to the discovery.
During that matter, they apparently found some information that is extremely important or exculpatory in regards to Daniel's case. They're using that as an excuse not to turn over that information, and they're trying to get the judge to say you don't have to turn it over because you found it in this personnel matter.
Fox 25 has previously reported on the secrecy surrounding Holtzclaw's case, and that a secret two-day hearing involved questions about DNA and the DNA expert who testified.
Can you pause it for a second, Rhonda?
Trial.
His constitutional rights, Daniel's constitutional rights.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so just given what, because I somehow missed that, this exculpatory information. Do we know what that is that they're talking about?
No, because it's
They still haven't ruled
secret.
whether they still haven't ruled whether the defense can have it or not.
The
What
rule
the de-
is. Go ahead, Kay.
What the defense got to read his public defender. What's his? James Lockard. God, I keep forgetting his name. Like I said before, he got to go read some heavily redacted transcripts, but the transcripts themselves are sealed to even Daniel's current attorney. So, I mean, we know that it had to do with Elaine Taylor's trial testimony, and we know it had to do with the issues that Daniel raised in his direct appeal. That's the way they decided to deal with that stuff, because Otherwise, he was going to get a new trial. That's how they kept him from getting a new trial, is
Yeah.
to dealing with that shit in secret hearings. But no,
I've
do
never.
we know what it is? No, we don't know what it is.
But it's you believe that this information is within Elaine Taylor's personnel file.
Well, it is Campbell Ruddock's review of her testimony in the Daniel Holtzclaw trial,
Gotcha.
which
Okay. Go ahead.
he was very he wouldn't, in his deposition, he kept using the word confused. I felt like her testimony was very confused, like it was confusing to the jurors. I felt like she should have explained this better. And what he meant was the way that she stuck with their drop in and drop out levels in the testing to be able to say that there was no male DNA. Not even Daniel's own DNA was on his pants. Instead of saying it could have been there, instead of explaining it like Silkman did,
Yeah.
that's how she should have explained it. And that's what Campbell Ruddock was saying in his
review
deposition testimony. So you can only imagine what he said in his actual review, which is in her personnel file.
I see.
The difference is Dr. Silkman wanted people to understand.
Yes.
Elaine and Giger wanted them not to not understand, be confused.
Right. Yeah, they wanted the jury to be confused.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow.
And
you know,
all
that I'm sorry,
ahead.
Rhonda. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No,
well,
go ahead. I'm muted.
I'm completely blown away again that in the United States, in any state, I don't care where it's at, they're allowed to have a secret hearing in a public. We're not talking about, national security, terrorists, potential blah blah blah. We're talking about an open, regular case, and there's secret hearings, and it's allowed. Never heard of it ever.
Right.
Not one. And I looked at a lot of criminal cases.
And you have to have a lot of corrupt people to
justify that,
make that okay, and not hold those people accountable.
Absolutely.
That should have given him an instant new trial. So what happened with that was his current attorney, Jim Hankins, he filed a petition for a writ of certiorari to the U.S. Supreme Court. He filed that on December 30th, 2019. So, 4 months, basically 5 months, I guess, after the appeal was denied.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So let's see. The secret hearings were... Okay, the secret hearings were 6/26/17, 6/27/17. They denied his... Well, I didn't realize it was... So they had the secret hearings pretty soon after he filed his appeal, like pretty instantly. I think he filed in February. And he filed February 1st. And June 26th, they start the secret hearings. And then they don't rule on his direct appeal until 8/1 of 2019, which is 2.5 years after he filed it.
Wow.
Wow. But then Hankins basically immediately files the writ of certiorari, thinking, there's no way he's not going to, they're not going to help him out here, give him some relief, because secret hearings, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Sure, the Supreme Court is going to uphold your rights to be present at an evidentiary hearing about your case.
That's a constitutional violation.
Yeah, it is, but how they get around that is they're so busy dealing with all this other bullshit that the U.S. Supreme Court's been dealing with over the past however many years, that they declined to hear the petition. Boom,
Wow.
it's done.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, they ruled on, so Hankins filed it December 30th of 2019, and they denied to hear it March 9th, 2020. Pretty quickly, they denied it.
Everything they've denied has been pretty quick. Everything. Like it's like they're ready for it and ready to just deny it. Just like in his pardon and parole board last year.
I really hoped they would take up some of these wrongful conviction issues all at the same time. Like, I know that I'd done some research. I can't remember what they call that, but where they group similar topics together and
Class
deal with
action.
them all at once.
Class action.
Well, at the Supreme Court, it's called something else.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, class action is generally civil.
I can't think what it was, but because I say that because Rodney Reed was before SCOTUS at the same time Daniel was right then. And they could have
grouped it.
Yeah.
They could have dealt with both of those issues together.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just dumbfounded that they wouldn't hear a clear constitutional violation case.
Yeah. Well, it makes you think that the corruption is from tip to tail. So.
Yeah, exactly.
The rot starts at the head.
Yeah.
And they don't give a shit.
They don't care.
Nope.
They
No,
don't
they
care.
don't.
No, this, to unravel Daniel's case is going to mean a lot of heads are going to roll. A lot of lawsuits are going to happen.
Yep.
It could be as bad for the state of Oklahoma as Stephen Avery's lawsuit in Wisconsin.
Just thinking the same thing.
Yeah, the reason they set him up.
Well,
the reason they fight so hard against it, against him making any headway.
Just to stick a pin in this, I'm I won't say a major history buff, but I've read a lot of history. And, when I think about in our justice system, the court system, the legal system, when I hear about secret hearings and about a defendant, my mind automatically goes to Nazi Germany in 1944. Because that's what they did. I'm not kidding. That's what they did it too.
Yeah.
I'm sure it probably happens in other parts of the world that I haven't really looked at, but that's where my mind goes to. I'm thinking, how can you treat another American? Even if you believe this person is guilty, how can you not follow the Constitution? This is one of the 10, our Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments are our
They're
Bill of Rights.
untouchable. They're fucking untouchable. They can do whatever the hell they please.
And you said the key phrase that you said, Jack, was all over the world. But this is the freest country in all over the world.
Yeah, supposedly.
With allegedly the most.
That's what we're led to believe.
Justice system, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
supposedly
that's what they like to say. Yeah.
And so if we can't even uphold those basic rights and freedoms in this free country, I mean, it's just. Justine J. from Foul Play says, "How come his lawyers weren't invited to the secret hearing?"
Yeah, well, they didn't want them in there.
Yeah,
personnel issue.
they made it a personnel meeting instead of what it really was.
Well, they
So
didn't
that-
even tell him about it, so they could have
Yeah.
protested it. I mean,
Yeah.
that's my next question, Kay and Rhonda and Cherie. How did they find out?
I mean, the news was covering it.
Yeah, but who told them? Who alerted them? Who alerted them that they were having these meetings in there? Somebody had to find and tip
Well,
it
I
off.
don't know. I guess whoever covers Oklahoma County Court, they're reporters all over the courthouse all
they
the
were
time.
they were there and saw some activity and gotcha. I understand.
I mean,
Thank you.
Daniel's attorneys learned about it from the news, so.
Wow.
Can you imagine? I mean, I can't even wrap my head around that shit.
Like
And
your
then-
head would explode at that point.
I mean, and then they filed a motion, which was answered by the Oklahoma Court of Criminal Appeals with their bullshit, although he should have been able to attend. No harm was done to Mr. Holtzclaw, as there was nothing exculpatory to his case. Which that shouldn't even be allowed to be an answer. That's
no,
bull.
it shouldn't. It is complete bullshit.
I agree.
Yep. That's why I said, that's up to his attorneys to make that decision whether something is, beneficial, to his case or not. Not for them, but that's they made that call and they got away with it. So, yeah, it's just it's infuriating.
Sorry to interrupt, but I before we got too far
okay.
along, I wanted to ask that. I mean, you can back it up 5 seconds and continue if everybody's done. We hit that part, and I'm thinking I need to ask this now because I really had missed this in the past.
Yeah.
It's how you always pick up something new when you re-listen or reread something, and I picked up on that right away. I was like, what the hell, man? Anyway.
What'd you pick up on, Jack? I lost internet there for a while.
She was gone for a minute.
But where they're talking about in this secret hearing, this personnel file document that could potentially have information that was exculpatory and would help Daniel. I had missed that. Yeah, I had missed that. And they call this hearing a personnel hearing. Well, why does that have to have a judge? If it's just a personnel hearing, you have that at the crime lab.
Yep, you're right.
It's absolute bullshit.
Or supervisors, right?
That's right. It's not a legal matter if it's a personnel issue. I'm with Kay. How is that even allowed to be an answer? It's because it's not one at all.
It's not.
So yeah, that's what I caught that I had somehow completely missed before.
They manipulate and do whatever the hell they want. There's a captain who got pulled over for DUI. He was freaking smashed.
Yep.
He couldn't even hold up his foot long enough to say 1,000. He's begging the other officer to turn his body cam off. The officer ends up arresting him, but he was never charged with DUI. And now he's fighting the suspension of his driver's license.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I saw that video of him.
I know,
Jesus.
it's disgusting.
Oh, my God.
And is the news covering that he wasn't charged? No. No. Why?
Nope.
Because they want to get stories from Oklahoma City Police Department.
Who did that happen, Kay?
I can't remember. Recently,
2 months ago?
Yeah, it was just a couple months ago. Yeah.
Oh my God.
What was his name?
French.
James Matt French. He goes by
James.
Matt French,
Yeah.
but it's filed under James French.
Yep.
And did he lose? He's not been charged, or has he lost rank or been?
No, he
suspended?
He was put on.
Modified.
He was suspended with pay pending an internal investigation.
Jesus.
And then he's back at work though.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Probably waiting on his promotion. That's generally how they do it.
So, I mean, he goes to court the end of August trying to fight to get his license back, saying that they didn't have the authority to take his license, some shit. I read his probable cause or his petition.
Yeah, it was.
So they did a blood alcohol test.
Yeah, he wouldn't submit to, well, I mean, he did some of the stupid monkey tricks on the side of the road, but he wouldn't submit to, he would
The
never
breathalyzer.
answer the question about blowing a breathalyzer. So he didn't do a breathalyzer, but they took him, he was arrested. I mean, this officer said, I'm not turning off my camera until I'm finished with this investigation. You're putting me in a bad position here.
Absolutely.
I can't treat anyone differently. I mean, I'm not going to treat you any differently than I would Southside Loco gang member.
Right. He's doing his job. That's what he's supposed to do.
What would I be if I did that? And then the chief, of course, had to come out and publicly commend the officer for doing a good job because, of course, what's he supposed to say? But he didn't hold him accountable.
Yeah, if you don't hold them accountable to their position, then it's nothing. It's crap. Wow,
And
I did not know that.
What do you think that officer who arrested him, what does that say to him? Well, fuck it then.
Oh, don't you know how much retaliation he's getting?
Yeah, I'm sure they are kicking his ass. And if I'm not mistaken, Kay, wasn't that from the Spring Lake Division?
That's what I heard.
Oh, really?
I mean, he's a road patrol officer. He's doing his job. Yeah, I'd be the same way. I'll be like, screw you. I'm not turning my camera off till I'm done. I'm treating you exactly like I treat anybody else.
You're not a captain of the police right now. You're a drunk citizen driving.
Right.
That's who
You're
you
not
are.
a brother. That's right.
Super drunk. Oh my God.
So drunk. You wouldn't even have to listen to that video, and you can look at his face and his eyes, and you can tell he's drunk.
Knockered.
Like
yeah,
oh.
I put a link for it.
Yeah, she linked it. It's not very long. You guys should all watch it. And this is in Oklahoma City.
It's 9
do we know what his blood? Do we know what his blood alcohol was?
I don't.
Not.
I don't think
so. I don't think.
I didn't see anything like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
it was
high. It had to be high.
Didn't you say that he refused the breathalyzer, or are you talking about a blood test?
Well, you can't refuse a blood test, but he didn't actually refuse the breathalyzer. He just, when the officer was asking him to submit to a breathalyzer, he wouldn't answer the question. He kept changing the subject.
Wow.
So
yeah, they just ended up doing field sobriety, and
this video says 3 months ago.
Yeah, that's
unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Certain officers can even, bat an eye. Other officers can drive super drunk and endanger God knows how many people and walk away.
Well, I mean, look at what they did. Look at the links they went to cover up Timothy Henderson's correspondence so that no one else could scrutinize it. They put it in. I mean, the governor orders the OSBI to investigate it because there's a conflict with Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office.
Sure.
Since, he's screwing some of the prosecutors. And then the next thing you know, the grand jury has it. No explanation for why the OSBI isn't investigating it anymore, except for, the only logical explanation is you can't keep the things secret that the OSBI investigates. It's only the grand jury who you don't get to know what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Secret.
The details of what happened. We can't see the text messages. We can't see the emails. And I guarantee you they did that shit because some
Of
of the
Holtzclaw.
stuff. Mhm. There you go. Not just the Holtzclaw, but these other wrongful conviction cases that Henderson was involved in. I mean, I bet there was all kinds of ex parte communication in his emails and text messages.
Mhm.
And you're right, Susan. The number one reason they had to cover it up was they've gone to great lengths to keep Daniel Holtzclaw in prison.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah, so
can't let it come out that they used him as a scapegoat so that Oklahoma City wouldn't have riots and tear up all
no.
their improvements.
Oh no,
I mean,
no.
how
They
fucking
could
shallow is that?
no way they'd ever admit to that. No way.
Anyway,
All right, Rhonda. Thank you for pausing that.
Oh, you're welcome. I just want to show a picture before I go back to the video because it makes me giggle. But so I'm going to show you this picture really quick.
Excuse me.
Okay, let's see. So there's an article. I think it's in the Intercept. I can't remember what paper it came out of. I think it's an independent journalist or something, but this
I
was
hate
the
those
name of the
faces.
article. I know they're
Ugh.
horrible. They're just evil. They're faces of evil. For those who aren't familiar, the one on the left is former disgraced Judge Timothy Henderson. The one in the center, which is a rarity to see with a smile on its face, is former District Attorney David Prater. And then the one on the far right, the little clown, is former ADA Galen Gigger, who ran for DA last year but lost. Thank
oh, he
God.
got his butt whipped.
Yeah,
But
he did too.
isn't he in the DOJ's office or something now?
He's in the
Yeah.
Attorney General's office.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure he'll be dealing with any future
yeah.
Yeah.
Holtz.
That's scary.
Unfortunately,
He
yeah, it is
should be
scary.
he actually should be barred from dealing with any of that
No shit.
because of conflict. He should not be allowed to touch it. It's conflict.
Yep.
Well, so the reason that this is called Big Pimpin' in Oklahoma County DA's office is kind of goes back to, I have a video on it. I think I have a couple of videos on it that we've done. But Galen Gigger has a son who was accused of, I think we talked about this recently, a few shows back, but his son, his name is Jackson Gigger, was accused of sexually assaulting 3 teenage girls when he himself was a teenager, and that all got buried. It all got buried. Like there's 2 things in the Oklahoma system that you can find and about it, and one of them is the actual charging document, and then there's another one that says that it's been dismissed with prejudice or without prejudice. And but anyway, the whole article, I wish I could find that article because it's a really good one. It talks about how these guys, Gigger and Prater, were making sure that that Henderson got, cute young ADAs in the office for him to, screw or whatever, assault,
Prey
whatever
upon.
he was
Prey
doing.
upon.
Prey
For
upon,
him
yeah,
to dry hump.
groom, dry hump. Yeah. And so anyway, and so it was just a big round circle of, everybody helping to keep Henderson's um, lies secret or whatever. Anyway, it's the picture just cracks me up. I just have to always show. I'd like to show that when I can because it's kind of funny to me. And I think Cherie and Catnet are dropping some links in the chats to uh, about
Mine,
about these
yeah,
things.
mine is the article that I saw that.
The Big Pimpin' article.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And then I think Kat dropped some videos from Galen Gigger that we've done in the past. And that's something that I did a while ago. Covered the investigators: Rocky Gregory, Kim Davis, Elaine Taylor, and then Galen Gigger. We have different, separate videos for each of them. If you want to go searching for information on them, because they're just as important to this wrongful conviction. It's because of them that this wrongful conviction even exists. So I thought, we need to share some information about them and their dirty lies and their dirty corruptness. So anyway,
Dirty laundry.
excuse me. Yeah, Eagles. It's one of my favorite songs by the Eagles, as a matter of fact. Is that Joe Biden when he was young? No, that's not Joe Biden. I'm assuming you're talking about Prater, probably. That's former DA David Prater in Oklahoma County. And he is evil. There's also a video on David Prater, now that I think about it too. And Elaine Taylor. So yeah, there's lots of different ones in there that you guys can check out. And learn some things about them. So, all right. I don't know how much of this is left, but I didn't know we did such a good job putting this together. So, or at least I feel like it's a good job. But we'll finish this up, or at least see what else is coming.
Right. Override any of that. And if there's anything exculpatory out there under the United States Supreme Court cases, it's got to be turned over to the defendant.
The court records say the witnesses, including the head of the DNA lab and the deputy chief of police, were thoroughly examined, but they were only questioned by the prosecutors and a judge. There was no cross-examination, and there is an attempt to continue in secrecy.
No matter what happens now, to me, the Pandora's box has been opened, because eventually we're going to be able to dig in here and figure it out. It may be years, but we're going to figure out what's going on here.
Problems with the Oklahoma City Police Crime Lab has the potential to impact hundreds, if not thousands, of cases. Emails obtained by Fox 25 already show a concern about the need for retesting of DNA evidence due to the situation surrounding a former lab employee.
We've seen it before, and we obviously didn't learn any of our lessons from what happened with Joyce Gilchrist.
Ultimately, no matter how you feel about the Holtzclaw case, this is going to affect you, the taxpayer. Taxpayer funds have already been used for the secret hearings, and if there's a new trial, it will cost even more. And that doesn't even take into account.
So I just kind of going back to what Jack has been saying, taxpayer funds paid for the secret hearings, but the taxpayers don't get to know what went on. It's a violation of the public's constitutional rights.
Well, it's a violation of the 6th and the 14th Amendment, I think, but at least the 6th.
Right. Yes. Yep. Okay. Sorry.
To account the emotional impact on those who say they were victimized by Daniel Holtzclaw. Phil Cross, Fox 25 News.
Holtzclaw's attorneys are also asking the court to stop Oklahoma City from destroying more evidence related to the problems in that DNA lab. Now, the court called Fox 25's reporting on the matter unsubstantiated, but asked the Attorney General to weigh in before they issue a ruling.
Let's see. Okay, yeah, I think that was all that as far as that goes, that we had. But yeah, it was bigger than
Dirty.
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 It was a bigger deal than what it hasn't carried out to continue to be a big deal, and it's so, I I mean, and what can we do about it? You know, it's
Like you said, it may take years.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah, and
Ugh.
yeah, and so yeah, that's, you know, it may take years to see him exonerated and freed, but you know, that's why we're not going to go anywhere. So, but yeah, anyway. So I don't know if there's any questions that anybody, you know, from anybody in either of the chats in my channel or Foul Play. Like I said, you know, we're happy to we're happy to you know, answer whatever we can, or explain or bust any myths or whatever. When was what? The secret hearings under your scars? That was
Probably.
2017, if I'm not
17,
mistaken.
June 26th and 7th, 2017.
Yeah.
So basically 6 years ago.
Yeah.
4 months after he filed his direct appeal, raising all these issues.
It's like queso 2.0.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, except really worse.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, as bad as Wisconsin is, I can't imagine them holding secret hearings and the defense is not allowed to come in.
Oh, yeah,
At
they're
least,
capable.
Oh, I could imagine it. Yeah.
well, I'm sure they could, but
They didn't ever need to, I guess.
Yeah.
They may need to in the future.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah. Well, I guess the only thing that I'm thinking of right now is, you know, next steps for Daniel, you know, and what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, God, I hate to say that I don't have any confidence in his post-conviction application bearing any fruit for him.
yeah.
But
Yeah, he's still being represented by someone.
James Hankins.
Okay, is he a public defender, or is he someone from?
He's someone that Uncuffed the Innocent picked up Daniel's case, and they have they've worked with James Hankins on other cases. He's gotten other people off before they actually got convicted. So
Okay.
I'm not sure how Erica Fuchs found him, but I think she is the one who found Hankins.
So he's experienced.
He's experienced in post-conviction work.
But not in 13 trials in one case.
Yeah, he definitely needs some help, but we need some pro bono help.
Oh,
TJ has a question.
Yeah,
he
really
says,
quick.
Why Daniel? Sorry.
I just really quick for Neverly's question. Can they go after that secret hearing to help Daniel somehow? The only way I think that could happen is if the record, if that was unsealed, and then I believe that everything in those hearings would be allowed in as new evidence in a evidentiary hearing or a new trial. But that's never going to happen. Those records are never going to be unsealed. Unfortunately.
Well, maybe when a lot of people die, but that's such a long time. It's really sad to think about that.
Yeah.
What about Vicky? I mean, I don't even know who has
Vicky
the power
Behenna?
to unseal that. Would that be with the child court? level, or
I mean, at least she could go review it and see,
Yeah.
see what they're lying about.
Yeah.
yeah,
I would guess she's familiar with it.
I mean, I don't know if she would have taken the
Maybe not.
time to go read through 2 days of transcripts.
Well,
How
yeah,
many hours? I
probably
mean,
not.
it obviously took his attorney 2 full days to read it, so to
Yeah.
go
Wow.
through it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's reading it and then there's reading it for comprehension. So,
Right.
trying to memorize it because they wouldn't let
Because
him.
that's
take
all he
the
could. Yeah.
mhm.
Yep. Couldn't snap any pictures or anything. So, under your scars, I don't have any plans to coming to Canada anytime soon, but it's not out of the question.
You don't, eh?
No, I have thought about it, but I haven't made a
About
decision.
it.
A boot.
I love all my Canadian
Boot and a
friends.
boot.
Please, a boot and a boot.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think Kay has answered this several times about
Why
why we
Daniel?
don't know why Daniel, but
Well,
we
yeah, I
have
mean, we actually do
theories.
know why Daniel. I mean,
Yeah,
he did something really stupid at a time, and then he got accused of some false allegations. The city didn't want to deal with that shit. They didn't want to deal with the fallout of standing up for an officer who's being accused of sexually assaulting a black woman when he turned his computer off. And yes, he turned his computer off on the way home. Had
And
he not
Janie
turned his
Janie
computer
went on the
off,
news.
yep.
Yeah.
maybe had he not turned his computer off, they wouldn't have thrown him under the bus. But it wasn't going to look good. They immediately started thinking about, oh man, this is going to blow up so big. They're going to
Yep.
uncover all these use of force violations, not even wanting to have to defend that almost all of them were self-reported. He was involved in a civil lawsuit, he and several other officers. It was a call that he assisted on where it was an in custody death, and the officers end up being cleared of that, but they didn't want all of that stuff to be raised to a national level, and so they sacrificed him, and they did
Yep.
that because they didn't want riots in the city that they had spent a fortune on. That's
I think,
what I think. If it would have
yeah,
been a
what,
different officer, depending on the different officers' history and how things would appear, maybe they wouldn't have sacrificed that different officer, but that's not what happened. I don't know.
and I think once Janie Liggins went on the news and made her accusations,
Mm-hmm.
it was out of the
Yep.
bag.
Yeah.
Yep, because of all the other shit going on in the country that Kay is, she's told us about. I think
Yeah.
she's right. I think she's spot on. And not only necessarily what the improvements downtown, I think it could have happened in any part of the city and probably would have.
Yeah.
Well, when you start researching the struggle that Oklahoma City had with just, making that a city that people would want to bring their businesses to, that they would want to move their families there, they really struggled hard. I mean, all the way back before the Oklahoma City bombing. I mean, they were kind of on a roll with the MAPS projects, and then the Oklahoma City bombing happened and they had to start all over. And they had made great strides. The people were financing these, each project project by project through a vote of the people. The people were voting for these maps projects all the time. None of them failed that I've found. And they're still doing it. I mean, if you look up the maps projects right now, they're still going gangbusters with
Wow.
making Oklahoma City magnificent.
Wow.
So, you know, there were connections to the mayor, a former, what is that, Barry? I think he was chief at some point, but he ended up over on the city side as far as city government side of things, and that's where he was when all this shit came around. So there was a connection from the Oklahoma City Police Department to City Hall through that former chief. So, I mean, if we had all their communications, I'm sure they would be like the Stephen Avery case where they don't give you the good ones. You could FOIA them, but would you get what you're looking for? I don't know.
Right. Right.
Anthony Hills has a question from the Foul Play chat. Why do you think KZ would not take Daniel's case? Well, she was in his civil suit initially. She did several of the depositions for the civil suit, but she's, you know, she had to do justice to Daniel's case. She had to drop it because she's so involved with Stephen Avery's, as well as all the others that she's involved in, you know, wrongful conviction cases. So she did initially was part of the civil suit. And, you know, as we get them and get, you know, as we're able to get clips of different depositions and stuff. In fact, I've already played a little bit of her asking questions in some depositions for Tabitha Barnes, I think it was. And so, you know, as we get an opportunity to, you know, get clips or different parts of depositions and stuff, especially where she's involved, you know, we'll play them for you. But, you know, those are long shots at best sometimes. So
I kind of feel like she saw pretty quickly how corrupt Oklahoma was, and she's dealing with that, which has to be so frustrating in Stephen's case, where, you know, Stephen should have had some relief by now.
yeah.
But because of corruption at every turn, she gets slapped down. The same thing has happened to Daniel, no matter who his attorney is. And like Rhonda said, just the magnitude of this one case really being 13 cases, or if you want to look at it as 8 now, since there were only 8 of the 13 accusers who had guilty verdicts or split verdicts. I don't know. It's just, I think it was just a lot for her. And I think she obviously wants to do the best that she can do. And taking on too much is not, I don't think she can be her best if her plate is full. She obviously still supports him.
Yeah, I mean, she's still got the Melissa Kalinsky case, which I don't know what the hell is going on with that. I haven't heard anything in months about her case. And then she's had some other cases too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've seen people online say, "Oh, if Kathleen Zellner dropped him, then she thinks he's guilty." But
yeah,
she has made it clear through several posts and through having him on her banner still, that she supports his innocence.
Oops, I muted myself. And if so, do we know anything about that cop? Oh, I must have missed your first question to that, Neverly. About, are you guys talking about, TJ, is she talking about Sherry Ellis?
Alexander Edwards, I think she's talking about.
Yeah.
We
let me
don't
see if I
have
can-
his AVL. You know, that would have been the Sherry Ellis case where she said it was a short black man. You know, but the problem I have with that, and I know that the detectives coached her to put it at the location where Daniel last pulled her over, because if she truly was raped, she wasn't raped where she said she was raped at trial.
Right.
Because where she said she was raped at trial or stopped, she explained exactly the Daniel Holtzclaw traffic stop, except for her allegations about him raping her behind the school. His car wasn't stopped there. So that didn't work out. But so I don't know. It would be interesting to scrutinize Alexander Edwards' AVL. But I mean, is it really, when you think about it logically, is it really, unless she's going to say where she really was raped, how are we going to know what to look for? You can't look at it and even know, because it's not where she said it happened if it's Alexander Edwards.
Right. Well, I mean, unless Alexander Edwards, left C sector and went into, or B sector or whatever, and went into Daniels, which was C. But we don't know that. We don't have any AVL information, like you said, on Alexander Edwards. But I think there's a very good reason for that.
Well, you have to have her allegations that are for real, though, and these aren't.
Right. I agree. Yeah, I agree with that. I'm not convinced that her allegations aren't real necessarily, but obviously not Daniel. There, it's not Daniel. But
Well,
I don't know.
You said this before, Rhonda, that in her deposition, when she says at trial was the first time that she saw who they said raped her.
Yes.
That tells the whole story. They convinced her
that she was raped,
that they had the right person.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did to convince her to go along with a location that wasn't the right location, because there's no way that Alexander Edwards stopped her exactly where Daniel stopped her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly where Daniel's car went. There's no way. That's not logical. It doesn't make
That didn't happen.
sense. It didn't happen like that.
Right.
So there are 20 kinds of problems with accusing Alexander Edwards of this. The first one is that he should actually be innocent until there's some evidence against him.
Right. I know.
Because he's a short black guy. There are a lot
of I know, and I know that's not. I agree. That's what we do. We believe that nobody is guilty until they're proven guilty, and they're innocent until proven guilty. And I've been called out on it, and I admit that I'm trying to find this picture here. It's not right for me to maybe even suggest, I suppose, Alexander Edwards, but I can't, hard as I try, I can't help myself but think, and here's why, because how many people have said, she described a short black guy. Daniel's not a short black guy. He's this, and this. But let me just show you a picture. I mean, this doesn't show height, but I happen to know that he's 5 foot
7 or 9.
Yeah, he's 5. Yeah, he's shorter than Daniel anyway. but I just want to show you this picture.
Well, you know,
And-
fuck Rocky Gregory for disregarding her short black guy. Or wait a minute, is that
Kim.
that's
Kim.
Kim Davis? Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's
Well,
okay.
Well,
fuck
yeah,
No,
that
fuck
would.
her.
I was gonna say, she specifically questioned. I don't remember who it was. It's talking about how dark he was, darker than you, lighter than you, and she says darker than me, and she was pretty
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah. Yeah. And well, she said, I consider myself light skinned. And,
Yeah.
and damn it, I just saw that damn picture and I can't see it now. I'm going to find it and show it to everybody. Just because people always say, well, who's the black cop that was out raping women? I don't know that there was a black cop that was out raping women. There's never been reports of that, at least that I've been able to find, that, other than these 13 accusers, there's never been reports that, some black cop was out raping black women.
Who was this? Who was this victim that was talking to Kim? I can't remember her name.
That's Sherry Ellis.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Carla Raines said a black
And yes,
man exposed himself to her or something.
yes. Okay, here's hang on a second. I'm going to pull up this picture. And I know it's not right. I'm not saying that he's guilty of it or he did it or anything else. I'm just saying this is not a very good picture, but this is Anthony Edwards. And I bring him up because he was what do you want to call it, accused. He was terminated from the force, Spring Lake Division, same division as Daniel, different shift than Daniel, but I don't even know if he was actually a different shift now that I think about it. But this is Alexander Edwards in his police uniform.
Yeah, it was the same shift.
It was the same shift, yes. Yeah, you're right. It was the same shift. So that's him.
He was having sex with prostitutes, and he tipped off some prostitutes to a sting that they were, which I think it had more to do with human trafficking. If I don't quote me on that, but it's been a long time since I looked at that. But that's my memory of that.
There's actually a news clip of it somewhere. I don't think I've used it before in any of my podcasts, but there's a news clip of him at the courthouse, taking after his hearing or whatever, when he pled guilty. And I realized that having sex with prostitutes in the back of his squad car is not the same as sexually assaulting someone. Those are two different things. I'm just saying. And he was terminated, but he was also, he took a plea deal. He pled guilty and took a plea deal that, got him almost nothing as far as a sentence. And, it was, I don't know. All I say when I mention Anthony Edwards is there was a shorter than Daniel black officer who was committing crimes of a sexual nature via prostitution. And that's found in news articles and on a news clip in Oklahoma. But that, like Kay says, it's unfair for me to say that. I'm not accusing. I'm just saying here's this thing over here involving this black cop who was, and it's not fair. It's not right for me to do that. I get stuck on that. So, so I don't know. So those are just some of the, when people want to know who's the black cop that was out raping. There is no accusation that Anthony Edwards ever raped anybody. So, in all fairness. So anyway, But yeah, and I've shown the clip of Sherry Ellis's deposition videos too, the clips that were made, and she's tore up. She's tore up from throughout her whole deposition. She's tore up like that, just crying and really upset. And I can't help but feel like maybe she was perhaps sexually assaulted. I'm not saying that didn't happen.
I
But
feel like
she,
that is true
I,
by the way she acted.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
she's reliving something.
She's living something traumatic, possibly a rape by a cop. And when she realized, what she had done, in talking about it in this deposition, I think there's some guilt in that, in her reactions. Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I mean,
I feel the
obviously we
same
can't
way.
know. Yeah, and that's the only human reaction I see with any of these accusers in the case. Because I feel like she knows that she did something very, very bad and that she's ruined somebody's life. And now what? Now she's and if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe I think she dropped out of the civil suit just before it was dropped by all the accusers. So,
Yeah, she did.
I don't know. What does that tell you? To me, that's like, I don't know. It's just an assumption, speculation on my part. But to me, that's another look at humanity. Like, I've already messed this guy up enough. And this case isn't going well as it is, and I'm just going to be out of it. I don't know. Those are just all my speculations, and it's not fair, but that's how I feel. So, anyway, yeah. So, but yeah, great questions and comments. I just thought this would be a good opportunity to do that, to just kind of discuss some of the myths or, discuss some questions and kind of take a break. It's hard work. It's a lot of work putting together these shows.
Well, hell yeah, but it's also a lot to try to take in and remember specifically each one of these. I mean, you think if they had done Stephen Brendan's trial as co-defendants, that would have been pretty rough.
Yeah.
Of course, it would have changed the nature of everything. But you think about 13 at one time. I'm telling you, I think that was so wrong. And did Scott Adams try to get these broken up, or was there any attempt, Kay or Rhonda or Sheree, or do you guys know if he tried to get these into separate trials, even if it was 2 or 3 at a time?
I don't think he did. And another thing is, as much as it should have been broken up, how much would that have cost? I mean, that wasn't anything Daniel's family could afford, was 13 separate trials.
Sure.
I mean,
I'm gonna get a little nosy here and just blurt it out. Do we know how much Scott Adams was paid?
I have no idea. None.
I can't imagine it was cheap because
yeah, well, and I was going to say probably not enough, but
probably not. I agree with you, but
I don't want to say the wrong amount.
6 figures, I'm guessing minimum.
I just don't, at the chance of saying the wrong amount, I don't want to say it. It's been a long time since I thought about that.
Well, I mean, as Rhonda said, it probably wasn't enough. At the same time, taking on a case, and not only it's so unfair to the defendant, it's completely unfair to the jury. It's just wrong.
Do you know how much the state spent in convicting him?
I don't know. Is that something you can
Yeah, you should be able
find
to
out?
actually open
They
records
should,
that request that.
yeah, that should
Absolutely.
be a FOIA.
Absolutely. And they can't really hide that. Well, unless it's
Yeah.
secret, of course. If it's secret, then you're.
Well,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, really, Jack?
Yeah,
Did
you're
you
right.
just
No,
say
just
that?
let me fucking retract that right away.
I don't even know. How would you word that?
Well, you
FOIA
would under
request. I don't even.
Somebody
under
FOIA'd that for Stevens' case. Was it Jinx?
well we
I don't know.
she FOIA'd receipts and so forth, and it was mind-boggling the number of hands that was in that pile of money.
Oh
I'm
wow.
not kidding. I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. It was something like 2.6 million or some shit, and there were people, the departments requesting. I mean, take this for instance. Calumet County got their hands in the pie and requested new video cameras and recording equipment for the courthouse for security. That got paid for out of that. There was just that's just one little side thing. There are dozens of things you're like, wait, what? What's your hand in this pie for? Crazy shit. I'm not kidding. 2.6 or 8 million, I can't, something like that. I don't know.
Good Lord.
It was 10 times more than the defense got paid, I can tell you that. At
Right.
minimum. So you
Right.
would under Oklahoma's open record statute, whatever it was there, you know, I talked about it a little bit, Kay. You're requesting total cost and receipts for how much what the state spent expenditures in the Daniel Holtzclaw case, something to that effect.
All right. Well, it'd be interesting to see the receipts, but I wonder, you know, given the court reporter's transcript
That's
pages
different.
are $1.75 a page.
That's different.
Well,
That's
yeah.
such a screwed up. I never heard of such. It's like they own the copyright. That's complete bullshit.
It is
But they would-
bullshit. She gets paid to do a job, you know.
And you're
It
done.
makes no sense.
And to charge X amount, almost $2 a page, that is a clear deterrent to anyone in the public
In this
requesting a record.
digital age, I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's unreasonable. It's completely unreasonable. And I'm actually a little surprised that, you know, these state senators and representatives from Oklahoma haven't done something.
They're the ones who did
I
it.
was just gonna say, you're the ones who
Right.
did it. Yeah.
They do all this shit that the DA council suggests.
Once done.
And, yeah.
Yeah,
they do
and
all
that
these
way they
things.
keep this information out of the public hands when you can't afford it, you know.
You got
Stuff
a
they don't
question
want
up.
you-
Yeah, under your scars, this is the second time, and I'm sorry we didn't address it before. Was it Daniel whose first lawyer never had a death penalty case before? Well, first, I don't know. Daniel's, although he's going to be in prison until he's died 3 times,
Death.
but
Yeah.
he, you know, it wasn't a death penalty case. So I'm not really sure, but yeah, you're right. Koberger's got a really good tax-funded team for sure, no doubt.
I don't recall is correct. Glossop's first attorney hadn't had
Yes.
a death penalty case.
Yeah.
I think
Right.
that's correct.
Yes, that's right. And TJ, oh, okay. 36 mil was Bill Clinton when he visited his crime scene. Gosh. Oh, TJ, you're so funny.
I was trying
so-
to find Daniel's writ of certiorari, but I don't know why I can't find it.
Well, if you can't find it, I sure can't find it. But I have, I think I have seen it before. So yeah, those are some things You know, I think of everything that we've talked about. You know, those secret hearings, I think, are the ones that are the most fascinating for people to hear if they haven't heard it before. How unconstitutional it was and still is, for those secret hearings. So you'll have to just watch those videos, go back and follow those links that Kat and Cherie have put in the chat, and go back and watch those videos. There was a brief mention of Joyce Gilchrist in one of those clips. That crime lab in Oklahoma County, has just been riddled with corruption since Bob Macy was the DA. And, it finally came to a head where Joyce Gilchrist was finally fired. And then she tried to sue and all that other stuff. And then she died at quite a young age.
I have a question. Has anyone of the Catnet or anyone posted the link to Brian Bates' podcast? If they haven't, I'm going to.
I don't know if it's been posted tonight. I know that
I'll
usually.
do it. I'll do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jack.
Oh man, send some positive thoughts out for Bates. He's I don't know, maybe he's not still in the hospital, but he's having some heart issues. So he went to the ER and they admitted him to run some tests, and so he's studying for his summer finals from a hospital bed.
Oh wow.
Anyway, hoping thankfully, if they can locate the problem before he has an issue, that's just the best outcome.
Yeah, he did. If anyone hasn't listened to his podcast and all the work that he did, it's just outstanding. It's just outstanding. He did a huge body of work.
He's a detailed guy.
He is.
Very detailed.
And if you're interested in this case, you need to listen and watch what he did. It's quite amazing, actually.
Yeah.
I'm trying to fix.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm trying to fix that, Rhonda.
Okay. Is somebody snoring?
Oh, my dog. Like I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Sam.
It wasn't me.
Oh my gosh.
Snoring.
We call him Pig.
Oh, God. That's funny.
He's a pit bull.
I can't wait to see him. Ever. Do I get to meet him? Do we get to meet him?
I don't know if you get to see him or not. He may not make an appearance.
Aww.
In the big city. Yeah. I fixed that, Rhonda.
Okay. So at my email?
No, I just changed the setting.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right, let's see. Nope.
No?
Nope.
Are you serious?
That's a heart attack.
Okay, hang on. I'm for real fixing it.
Okay. For real?
For real.
Well, we'll have to journey out there then to meet him if he's not coming to the city.
Oh, journey. That's like an hour and 25 minutes one way.
That's all right.
Home.
Meet Sam.
Enid.
In Enid.
Oh.
Okay, now I fixed it.
Sure you did.
I did.
The same link?
Well, I mean, I just, fixed it.
Let's see. Okay, if you say so.
Did I?
Let's see. No, I'm going to choose a different email and see if that makes a difference, but it usually doesn't.
It's your DKH email.
I put a link in the chat as well, in Foul Plays chat, but maybe that won't let you open it either. I don't know.
Okay, there we go. What am I looking at now?
Just what he was asking the Supreme Court to do.
Let's see.
The questions presented.
Should I just do the 2 questions?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to share them on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. I could probably do that, I think. Wow, that was big. Okay. All right, bear with me while
Sam,
I love it. It's
I'm
so
sorry.
cute.
I need to mute my microphone. This is his bedtime.
It's fine. It's not a big deal. He's tired. He's worked hard. Okay. So these are the questions that were presented for review in his writ of certiorari. For anybody who was interested in that. I don't know why that. Okay. So DNA evidence played a central role in this sexual assault case in the form of a quote unquote match between DNA from a complaining witness and the major contributor in DNA mixtures found on the fly of petitioner's pants. This evidence was conveyed to the jury by state forensic analyst Elaine Taylor. However, concerns over Taylor's personnel record arose while direct appeal was pending, and the state appellate court remanded to the district court, which held a remarkable 2-day hearing in camera and ex parte on the matter. Although defense counsel were excluded from this hearing, the transcript and exhibits were made available to defense counsel, but not to the defense expert DNA witness. The prosecutor at trial misrepresented the DNA evidence during closing arguments. The question presented for review is, what is the standard of materiality applicable in assessing the prejudicial impact of potential exculpatory evidence relating to the state's chief forensic expert, which was obtained in a secret ex parte hearing at which defense counsel were excluded entirely and thereafter precluded from sharing the result of which the defense DNA expert with the defense DNA expert. Number 2, this case stemmed from initial counts in one incident involving alleged forcible oral sodomy and procurement of lewd exhibition, but ballooned to a total of 36 counts ranging from burglary in the first degree to stalking to rape, alleged by 13 different complaining witnesses against a police officer. Petitioner has alleged improper joinder. The question presented is there a constitutional limit on joinder of complaining witnesses and counts? And then, yeah, those were the questions presented.
And the Supreme Court said, fuck off.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah. Piss off, you
They said,
peasants.
we're busy with all these important things. Like, just pick one.
Pick anything.
Find the most stupid thing the Supreme Court took up.
Can just taking free trips on private jets that were from people were.
Oh, come on.
Never
What's
mind.
wrong with that?
Wasn't that the Oklahoma Supreme Court?
No, this is the Oklahoma. This was the U.S. Supreme Court.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, they really felt like that was the best path, the quickest path. They weren't going to get any relief in Oklahoma. And why wouldn't the Supreme Court take up a case where there were secret hearings?
Good question.
The defendant was excluded. I mean, that's a no-brainer right there, you would think.
Yeah.
But apparently we don't have enough. There are too many cases for these
Yeah.
justices to deal with, and they choose what they choose.
Anthony Hills, I wish there was anywhere you could get a brief background on the case.
I
But
think Daniel in the Den is the best
yeah, that's probably
kind
the
of
best.
start. Yeah, Michelle
Yeah.
Malkin's
Daniel in the Den,
YouTube.
on YouTube, and I know that one of the mods is going to put it in the chat. So Sheree, what are you talking about? I have no idea what she's talking about. I mean, I know what she's talking about, but
Well, stupid decisions that SCOTUS made, or
okay,
that they took
gotcha.
out.
Oh yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely. I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to start a controversy by saying
Yeah, that's
so.
my thing.
I'm sure that's the first thing that comes to most people's minds. So we'll leave you guys to guess what we're talking about. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's the one.
Yeah. Yeah, so yes, definitely Brian Bates. However, he doesn't give a brief overview.
Yeah.
So I agree with Susan. Daniel in the Den on YouTube is probably the best place to get. Let's see if I can find that real quick.
That the villain.
I've got it here, Rhonda.
You got it? Okay, thank you.
That the villain podcast that I posted earlier. That was pretty good.
That was good too.
The
Yeah.
Villains? I don't know if I watched The Villains.
Yeah, it just came out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it has let's see.
I'll have to check it out.
Hang on, add sparkle to anything with these
What?
glitter stickers. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Ads.
She's got ADHD.
The Complicated Case of Daniel K. Holtzclaw. No, wait, that's yours. Oh my God, where's my link?
No, that's that's the one that that's the best one that I've seen.
No, the villain.
Oh, I didn't watch the Villains one.
Plural.
Yeah, I didn't watch the Villains. I thought Cherie posted it. Oh, I think I posted it in the beginning, early on. But we can do it again. Actually, I think you have it in this private chat over here.
I thought so too, but I clicked on what I thought it was, and it took me to the one that you.
The Writ? Oh.
No.
Oh.
Oh my God.
Oh. Well, we don't know what we're talking about. Well, we know what we're talking about. We just don't know where the link is.
This is
I
the
could've
train
sworn.
wreck part.
I
got it
Cherie
here.
put that
Okay.
link in.
I'm getting it.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'll have to watch that myself then, because I haven't watched that one. I've been all wrapped up in the other one.
Too much
Oh,
to go.
TJ.
This has 4.2 million views.
Oh, okay.
So that explains why Daniel's support page has been getting so many new supporters. Okay, did that post? I'm sorry, I'm not logged into YouTube to be able to post it myself, so I put it in the private chat.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you doing here? All right, let me see here.
What I'm doing. Sam, you snore too loud, pig. Piggy.
Okay, let's see if this works. And then Anthony Susan, oh lordy, Susan has also put a link for Daniel in the Den into the chat as well. So that will help. This one that I just posted in the chats, I don't know what the name of it is, but that's the one that Kay's talking about. I'm going to have to watch that myself because I don't know about it.
It's called Cop Realized He Is Going to Jail for 263 Years.
Not sure I've seen that.
Yeah.
How long is it, Kay? How long has it been?
It is 42 minutes.
That's not bad.
No, he does a pretty good job. He makes a couple mistakes, but not bad.
Gosh, Kay, I don't know why, but I feel like you're confusing it with the other one.
Am I? Hang on.
I think you are.
Oh, wait, I am, because I'm looking at my comments on it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just disregard everything. I'm going to go snore with my dog now.
No, you're not. No, you're not. No. I mean, you can watch this one, of course. I haven't watched it yet. I don't know about any of the accuracy in it. But the one...
Man, I need to start a document that lists all of these, and we can rate them on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm going to put the one that I was talking about in here again. This is the one that I've been talking about. This
Morbid
guy,
Curiosity, or is that the one? Or?
No, not Morbid Curiosity.
Oh, sorry.
I was not all that impressed with Morbid Curiosity.
Yeah, those people pissed me off.
Me neither.
Yeah, they did me too. So the link, it's called The Complicated Case of Daniel K. Holtzclaw, JCS inspired. That's the one I think Kay is talking about, because he did do a really good job compared to everybody else at breaking down the case based on the interview. And like Kay said, there are some things that are incorrect, but
that's true. That is right. That's the one. Because I commented, I've been researching this case since December 2016. You did a fantastic job summarizing Daniel's case, which is in effect 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many? So this has 84.4 thousand views.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And I am all over the comment section in this one. Just about, I mean, I'm just all over it. And I comment, I get notifications every day from somebody who's responded to a comment that I've made. And I've been called names. I've been called a racist. You can call me anything you want, but when they call me a racist, I get really upset about that. But anyway,
you don't say that's just like your opinion, man.
No. When they with other things, I might say, well, to each his own, your opinion, blah blah blah. But when I get called a racist, I get really defensive of that.
That was a Big Lebowski reference.
Oh, what did you say? Oh, never mind.
That's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the subscribers. It's had over 36,000 views.
Oh, that's the subscribers. Hang on. See, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about today.
No,
the villains have had 4,259,398 views.
Jesus. I'm going to have to watch it, I guess.
And they only have 207,000 subscribers. That's amazing. That's since May 1st of this year.
I think that it was Darkside that put those in. I don't know if it was in Daniel's Truth or in Daniel's room in Foul Play, or in my room in Foul Play. But I think it was Darkside. Darkside, if you're still in the chat, I know it's late for you, but I think she put both of those in. And I think she said something about the villains one. And I was like, then I'm not going to watch it because it'll piss me off. And I don't. But then I watched the other one, the Complicated Case of Daniel Holtzclaw. And I was like, Oh yeah, and I saw your comments in there too, Kay. And then I just went, I just went crazy commenting because I don't have anything else to do with my time, and so I just sit on YouTube comments all day long. I just pisses me off though when people are like, so that pisses me off, but I want to inform. I want to give the correct information. And unfortunately, you can't link things in other people's YouTube channels. I mean, I don't know if you can or you can't,
you
but
can. You can turn that on and off.
yeah. And so whenever I've linked, like I linked a bunch of stuff in Morbid Curiosities, and the links always um, would disappear. And so, but when people say, well, prove it. If you have all this proof and all this information, prove it. Well, I can't, number one, because I can't link anything in somebody else's channel. Number two, I mean, I just don't have links for information that I have. And then it sounds like I'm trying to get people to join my, well, just come to my channel. And I don't want to do that in somebody else's, channel either. Like, oh, come and watch my stuff. But I have said, I've been breaking down this case for over 2.5 years, 3 years, and I have a lot of different videos with a lot of factual information in them, with police reports and trial transcripts and, different things like that. And, but I don't tell the name of my channel. I just leave it to people to figure out that it's, what my name is. And I have gotten a few people that came from Morbid Curiosities to, to come over and watch. So anyway, and that's just the difference between what we do on my channel versus somebody like the one that did this complicated case of Daniel Holtzclaw or Morbid Curiosity or the villains. The difference is that this is all I cover for the most part is Daniel's case. And I can do it accuser by accuser, giving all the different details of information that we have, where these guys are just doing these 2-hour overviews and based off of the interrogation. Like literally they base it off of the interrogation. And I just don't think that's, I mean, it's good. I mean, to get people interested, I guess, but you're just giving a taste. And these guys have, thousands and thousands of subscribers, and I'm sitting here at 432 and I'm offering more information. So, I can't do anything about it, but, I hopefully it can get some more traction into Daniel's case as we go along. I don't know. But anyway, I'm rambling now. So, well, I think that we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. I feel like we had some good information, hopefully, for folks. If you've not heard anything about the case or you knew very little about the case or whatever, there's some basic questions answered here, and different YouTube links that you can go to of my shows or some other people who have done some content as well. But always, I want everybody to feel free, ask questions in the comments, or comment and let me know what you think about the case or what your opinion is of certain things. We want to hear all of it. If we can address things in comments, if that's what it takes, then, any way that we can get out more truthful and factual information, that's what we want to do. So we'll kind of wrap it up here. I'm going to give everybody a couple minutes to make some last comments. Yeah, well, that might be true, TJ. 432, that's 432 more than him. Anyway, and also let me just say that the subscribers have also gone up because Foul Play is also streaming simultaneously with my channel, so that's been helpful too. And I just, from everybody from Foul Play, I get there's so much research going on and so many questions and so much great content that's being that you're seeing every week and every weekend, with reading with the crew and then open mic on Sundays. There's so much great information, and recently Dr. Silkman has released some fabulous information that he's obviously he and Neverly have done a lot of work on, and but in the meantime, while we're waiting for the courts to respond to Kathleen's last motion, spend a little time learning about Daniel's case, and let us know what you think, what your opinion is. I mean, we all have very strong opinions here. I have no idea what Kay just did. She is just all sorts of crafty tonight.
What is that?
I don't know. It's probably her way of saying, all right, wrap it up, Jabberjaws. But anyway, just take some time and listen to the podcast, Michelle Malkin's video that's been put in the chat, and let us know what you think. Don't take that we all here on the panel believe 100% in Daniel's innocence, but
Yep.
get your own opinion. And if I can just say, and I'm not saying anything bad about Cherie or Kay here, but if Jack and Susan believe in Daniel's innocence, and I'm kind of speaking to those people in foul play who are watching, there's got to be some truth to what we're saying, because Jack and Susan aren't just going to go, spouting off, he's innocent, without having some knowledge and some belief of it themselves.
Dr.
I'll
Silkman
say-
too.
And
I'll
Dr.
say-
Silkman, yes.
When at the time that it happened, it was on the news here because I'm not far from Oklahoma City, and I just thought he was guilty. I didn't look into the case. I didn't see the case, just from the news, and
Same here.
13 women, and
Same here.
I was
Yeah.
like, yep, I got another cop. Good. So his ass in jail.
Yep.
yeah,
I didn't look in
Yep.
the case at all.
motherfucker. Yeah,
Yeah.
he deserves it. Yeah. So yeah, look closer.
Yes. That's
And you will
the key
see.
right there. Look closer and you will
Yep.
see.
Yep.
But not a lot of information has been released about Daniel's case. Unfortunately, it's it requires a lot of FOIAs, and things like that, and paying. So it can
It
get
really
spendy.
needs it really needs a Netflix or a Hulu or whatever,
Yeah.
minimum 4 or
Yeah.
5 part docuseries to expose what these people did, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
I think you would see something entirely different.
Yeah, I agree. I reached out to Netflix a couple of times, and yeah, I did. I don't know. Did you watch that yet, Anthony Hills, Dr. Silkman's review? It was fabulous.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, outstanding is the better word. So if you haven't watched that yet, definitely take a look at Dr. Silkman's presentation on the DNA. What little microscopic amounts of it there are in Daniel's case, because it'll blow your mind. I know it blew our mind, did mine. So, anyway, comment, leave us some comments that, questions in the comment section that we can answer. Like I said, I'm checking notifications on comments multiple times a day. So, usually within the 24-hour period or less that you make a comment, I'll respond to it. So I don't know if somebody wants to grab Dr. Silkman's presentation, just the standalone part, or you could do the whole thing, I guess, and put that in the chat. And just, it'll, if you have questions
look-
about the DNA.
Yeah, I'll look right quick and grab it.
Okay.
Um,
Okay,
give me
thanks.
just a second.
You bet. Yeah, we're gonna get it. Jack's gonna get it. Neverly. If you, just if you don't really know, let me just give you a nutshell, if I can. In the trial, there was one of the accusers, 17-year-old girl, who Daniel had stopped twice that day, and searched her. The first time he searched her, he handcuffed her and the two people she was with, and searched her bag, and then later that night he found her walking alone, and she's 17 years old, so he found her walking alone. So he searched her again, put her in the back of the patrol car, and took her home and dropped her off. Well, then she claimed that she was vaginally raped by Daniel, and so after 2 different tests for DNA on his uniform pants, they found a microscopic amount of what is literally called transfer DNA on his pants, on the zipper of his pants. Well, when they got to the closing arguments at trial, the prosecutor, Galen Giger, literally lied to the jury and said that DNA came from the vaginal walls of this 17-year-old girl. And that was an absolute, unadulterated lie. There's no science for that, first of all, and at least that they could do in Oklahoma, and they refuse to admit that it could possibly be transfer DNA, and it was a very small amount of DNA, by the way.
Tiny. And I'll tell you what, I don't even trust that it actually came from the fly of his pants.
I'm not convinced
It could have
either.
been. It could have been anywhere on them.
Yep.
That's what those dirty crime labs do.
Well, and even worse, to add to that, they didn't really check the pockets and normal areas using multiple different light sources, which they could have picked up other potential DNA. They didn't do any of that.
Right. Yeah, there was
So
no.
they say.
So they say.
I don't necessarily believe they didn't.
I don't
didn't
believe
find
they
anything.
didn't.
Yeah.
He wore those pants for a few days. There have to be stains on the pants.
Yeah. But
yeah.
Daniel hasn't been able to get the pants for retesting. So, it's just so bizarre. So bizarre. Or at least for the civil trial, he wasn't able to get the pants to be retested. I mean, that could change, hopefully, possibly, for post-conviction, but no, nobody was examined at the hospital, Anthony, except for the woman he stopped on the night of June 18th when this all started, and she
had a SANE exam.
Yeah, she claimed that he had orally that he had put his penis in her mouth. So she went to the hospital and had a SANE exam, a sexual assault nurse examination, and there was no DNA. And Dr. Silkman's presentation shows us that very clearly. There was no DNA from Daniel anywhere in her mouth, on her person, anywhere at all. Yet she won a conviction on all of her accusations against Daniel. So, but the other accusers, they took buccal swabs from all of the accusers, and the only DNA that was found was from the 17-year-old girl who
Adira
Daniel
Gardner.
had pulled over, Adira, who he had pulled over several hours earlier before he pulled over Janie Liggins. And
was it about 3 hours that it took Janie to get to the hospital?
Yes.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
want to add one
anyway.
more thing for Anthony. When you watch Daniel in the Den, I want you to pay attention to certain sections that are that are inside the courtroom, and I want you to listen to what's in the background. It's these protesters outside the courthouse, to convict
Black
Daniel. So
Lives Matter, kind of.
that's right. They were loud. They wouldn't. So these jurors heard all this.
They're
Keep in mind,
chanting 36 counts, give him life. 36
Yep.
counts, give him life.
So
I
there's
can't think what the other is.
this underlying tone of, if you don't, we're going to burn your fucking city down. So there had to be this element of fear. There had to be. I mean, can you imagine sitting in on that jury and having all these people outside doing this daily chant? Just keep that in mind. Just be listening. Just be watching for it and listening when these scenes in the courtroom come up, and they do. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. So I just put a link in the chat, in my chat for now. Anyway, I'll put it in Foul Plays as well. This is a fact sheet on the DNA scientific issues in Daniel's case. And it's just one page, so it's not a huge, long thing. And I'll put it here in Foul Plays as well.
Stick Space says, when's the retrial?
That'd be nice.
Yeah, we don't know. There's no, we don't know. We don't know. He's got to get a post-conviction relief. So anyway, so yeah, great questions and great comments. I really appreciate it. Susan, what would you like to add before we wrap up?
I don't know.
You're fine. It's fine. You don't have to say anything.
It was very good. This presentation, just going over some of the stuff that's really bad in this case and educating people.
Yeah, it was good. And Stick Base also, he says, how about STD test the accusers and Daniel to clarify if they have the same? They actually did do DNA or testing for STDs, and Daniel didn't have any STDs, nor did he have any sign of.
But they didn't do STDs for the accusers.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Also, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about this, but I think they also tested for steroids, and there was no steroid. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong about that.
I can't remember that. I feel like I've heard that, but I can't remember if that's right or not.
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to take that back and just say that's speculation because I don't remember for sure. I read that somewhere.
They sure asked him about it in his interview.
Huh?
They sure asked him about it in his interview.
Oh, yeah. They rode him hard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really tried to, and that's some comments too that we hear from people in chats from different YouTube videos. You can tell, yep, he did it. He's on roids. Look how built and how blah 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 blah. And yep, he did it. Okay, well, first of all,
roid rage.
There's no evidence that he was on steroids. Number one, and number two, just because even if he was on steroids, that doesn't mean he sexually assaulted anybody.
Right.
So,
but he said he's never taken them, even when he was, football player.
Yeah.
Well, he would have lost his scholarship. He had a full ride.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we did hers, the lady on PCP, and how much slack they've given her. Yeah, well, yeah, he was found guilty on 3 of the counts for her. That was Tabitha Barnes. We just finished up with her.
Neverly, that blows my mind too. But what blows my mind the most about her is that how Judge Henderson felt it so necessary to put on the record after her testimony that how did he say it, Rhonda? Basically documenting that she wasn't under the influence when she testified, even though they had a drug test saying otherwise. That's what
The
blew
same
my
day. The
Same
same
day.
day
Yeah,
that she testified. It's
baffling.
on PCP and
I mean, if
PCP,
that's not a biased
THC.
judge, then what is?
Yeah. Yep.
yeah,
she had PCP, THC, and then her legitimate prescribed drugs, Seroquel and hydrocodone. So, yeah, it's just we just went over. Yeah, Kim's partner's just as bad. I don't know. Sometimes I think I despise Rocky Gregory more than Kim Davis because he is an absolute pig.
Oh,
He
I
is
hate
such
hard
a
one.
pig.
He's a
It is
snake.
hard. He is just.
You don't have to
fucking
choose which
evil.
one you hate more.
Yeah.
That's
know.
true.
You
I
can
know,
hate
it's
all those motherfuckers. I'm sorry. I hate all of
equally.
them.
Yeah. Oh, I do too. Absolutely, I
Yeah.
do. You know,
I mean,
hate
they're just
Rocky.
morally corrupt. They just
Yeah.
bankrupt. I mean,
Morally bankrupt. Those are the
And
right words. Morally
and
bankrupt.
ethically.
yeah, you should get out of that profession when you have done it so long that it doesn't resemble anything that you took an oath to do.
Yeah.
True.
Cherie, what you got?
Oh, I didn't even realize I was unmuted, but I guess I just encourage everybody to watch that. If you want to learn about the case, to watch Daniel in the Den to get a brief, overview, and then dig into Bates Investigates podcast to get all the details, and watch all of Rhonda's videos. 90% of them are about Daniel, or maybe more. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the percentage. I know I've done some. I think I've covered Julius Jones in one or two, and I've covered
Richard
Richard
Glossop.
Glossop in several. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll keep covering Richard as long as there's something happening. Every time something happens, I'm absolutely
Until they
covering
kill him?
Richard.
Until
Oh
they kill
God,
him?
please, no, I
Murder.
can't.
Jack,
The
stop.
thought
Murder.
just makes me so sick.
Well,
It makes me
I'm just
so
saying
sick.
Yeah.
this is the
They
reality,
want
and
to.
I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they want to
I
run it
know.
out there, and there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, and then, and then I think I told you, I also have videos of, I've got Bob Macy videos, Joyce Gilchrist and Elaine Taylor videos, but all of it, other than the other cases, all of those other videos, they are all connected to Daniel's case. The individuals are, connected to Daniel's case. So that's why those are in there. And I haven't heard of any juror being sorry about their verdict.
But many haven't come forward, have they?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Not to my knowledge. Well, there's
Only
two of them
two.
have been interviews on TV after the verdict. Ron Hill and Daniel Speaks were the only two that have done interviews. But they both, they stand by their verdict, at least in those interviews.
Was it Ron Hill that said the DNA is what did it for him?
Well, he said the DNA is what was the biggest thing for most of the jurors. He was
Yeah.
speaking.
Yeah.
I think that was Ron Hill, was it? Am I? getting it confused?
Well, yeah, he did, but then Daniel Speaks also said something similar. That he thought that the DNA evidence was boring, but that was what made them decide. They both kind of said it in different ways. Ron Hill was just kind of a prick, personally. Sorry if he ever happens to hear it, but he was just kind of kind of a arrogant, I guess is a better word, in his news interview. So, yeah, excuse me. So that's yeah, there's a lot of information, old videos that you can watch that that we did way back in the beginning when I have no idea what I was doing. You know, um, to now where I know a little bit more, and Kay and Cherie keep me on track the best that they can. They try hard, but it's really I don't make it easy on them. So I'll give Kay the last comments here before we end it.
Well, I just want to thank everyone for all the questions and comments and keeping this so interactive tonight. We really didn't have any clue what we were going to be talking about tonight, and it turned into a very informative podcast. So made us think about some things we haven't thought about in a long time. It's hard to keep everything in your brain at once. What else? I talked to Daniel today. He's doing good. He's been in the gym on a regular basis. And what else? Just he had injured his knee and his low back, but they're both getting better. So he's starting to feel pretty good. I think he lifted pretty heavy today, so he's going to take a couple days off. And they're getting some ice cream in a few days. So
nice.
The highlight of all highlights in prison when it's ice cream day.
Yeah, it would be a real treat, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as usual, he always, is so appreciative for all of the supporters and anyone who takes the time to learn about the facts of his case and share it with others. So, he sends his gratitude to everyone for that. That's it. I guess we'll see you guys next Thursday night for a surprise show.
Yeah, it'll be a surprise show next Thursday. It'll be something a little different, probably. Not sure exactly if we're going to start with Carla Johnson or Carla Raines. It's one of the Carlas. Is next in the timeline of events. So, so I want to just address, okay, I'm not going to go into very much detail about this under your scars, but I will say that you haven't missed anything. He and I did have quite a few conversations back and forth via email. I know that Cherie and Kay and I read the documents that he sent. I don't know if Jack's had a chance to read them yet.
Oh man, that's a whole podcast in itself right there.
It's a whole series of podcasts. Yeah, that's why I don't really want to comment on it too much, but we are in contact, and he and I will be having more contact and deciding how to go about something with that particular case. But thank you, because I find him very intriguing and very interesting. And we have a lot of questions. And there's a possible meeting in the works with that person in the next week or two. So, which I think will be cool if that happens. So, and now that everybody in the chats is going, what the fuck are they talking about? Sorry, that's all I can say. Just because I don't know where it's going yet, and so, but if it does come to something, we will be presenting stuff to you guys about it. Let's see here. Yes, Stickbase, sorry, his girlfriend has moved on. I mean, why wouldn't she? She was young, and she deserves to have a life, and Daniel understands that, it's heartbreaking for him, of course, but it is what it is when you're facing that kind of a future. So
he's over it.
Yeah, that's been a long time ago. So lots has happened since then. I don't know if you've written to Daniel under your. Yeah. I don't know if you've written to Daniel or not under your scars. I know I gave you his address and everything. If you have, I'm sure he'll write you back as soon as he's able. Just take your time, do what you do. It's fine. And thank you, Neverly. We hope it's not just us. We're just giving you guys the information. It's all of us, including you guys as well. So thank you so much. All right. So I think. No, Jack. What do you mean?
Well, you said Kay had the last word.
Rhonda always has the last word.
I
was just messing.
Did I not let you say anything? I'm so sorry, Jack. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone on the live chat. It's been a great podcast.
Rhonda.
Oh, fuck you guys.
Chopped liver here.
Gosh.
Sorry, Jack.
We'll really thank everyone.
The last word now.
Just wanted to let everyone in the live chat say a big thanks. A lot of great conversation. Want to thank Rhonda and Kay and Cherie for putting up that video about the secret meetings. That still just grinds my gears. I can't tell you how much that grinds me that they were excluded, and it's probably not even a word, but the illegality of that situation. And no one that bats an eye like, yeah, well, it's all right. It was a personnel meeting.
Yeah.
What was a personnel meeting? Have it at the HR office with that person, not in court with the judge. That makes it legal. Sorry.
Yep.
Anyway, coming up, of course, Saturday, Reading with the Crew, continuing with some really interesting things that continue on talking about Officer Jason Jost of the MTSO. And also on Sunday, as it's planned right now, we're going to continue on with the miscellaneous calls from MTSO there's still probably another couple of podcasts to get through all that, because a couple of those tracks they're pretty long. So, and then, but I haven't sent Travis the invite, Kay, about coming on and talk about post-conviction. If he agrees to do that, that's what we'll do on Sunday. I'd like to talk to him too about it. I have a lot of questions. So he hasn't replied, but I'm sure Travis is busy as hell. But hopefully he'll agree. Yeah, I mean, if he's comfortable doing it, if he's not, that's cool. So I get it, So, but we'll try to get someone, certainly with a legal knowledge, to answer our questions.
And if you can just talk about it in a generic way.
Yeah, I said layman's. I requested layman's terms. I did.
Yeah, for sure. Thank goodness.
Yeah, because the process and procedure part, it can get in some legal language that people are like, well, what did you say? And it's a Latin word or whatever, and we have no idea what that means. So I did request layman's terms.
Well, if we don't ask him to specifically talk about things about the Holtzclaw case, because I think he feels a little like he's in a little gray area there, because he did do the motions in limine for the civil aspect of Daniel's trial. So I think he feels kind of,
No, I didn't say, I want the process, not about any specific case.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So
awesome.
And then one last thing, we've been asked to look at another case, And this just literally happened in the last couple days. And so it's a pretty big case. And so we're getting information, and and this is supposed to be another wrongful conviction. And I have to say, I know virtually nothing about this case. I heard about it. I heard seen the headlines, but I really know very little about it. So some of us are going to be checking out some information that we're being given, and maybe we'll open that up on an open mic or some other podcast or whatever to talk about it. But we'll
What
see. We'll see how
state
that
is
goes.
that out of?
Rondo, which state is that? I really don't know.
Tennessee?
Is it?
Indiana,
No, I don't know.
think.
Indiana.
I think it's Indiana.
That was going to be my second guess. Was Indiana
Yeah.
going up? Yeah.
It's a
I
case
think
that
you're
is connected to the Delphi case, but it's not the Delphi case, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
no, it's not.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's kind of connected somehow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it.
Yeah. We're just kind of starting to dig into that over in Foul Play. So.
Yeah. This is, like I said, this has only happened in the last couple of days, so we agreed to take a look at it. So we'll see.
That's what we're gonna do.
And thank you, Rhonda, Kay, Sheree, for all the hard work you do on Daniel's case.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us on Thursday nights. We appreciate it.
You bet.
And so until our surprise show next Thursday, I'm going to go ahead and say peace out.